Hello out there, it's bad weather out there, but tonight I will make a video where I run through all the hardware and the setup of the software. This is my 10-inch telescope from Meade. It's an LX90 and it's a Schmidt Cassegrain telescope, and it works like this. The focal length on a Schmidt Cassegrain is very long. It's because you measure it from here, from the corrector plate where the light is gathered, and the light will go down the tube to a primary mirror down here and back up to a secondary mirror up here and back again to this end of the telescope. In my case, it's 2,500 millimeters. That's a focal ratio of f10. I have equipped my Schmidt Cassegrain with a focal reducer. This is a 0.63 focal reducer and it reduces the f10 to f6.3, and that's about 1,500 millimeters or 1,480 millimeters to be exact at the focal length. This is how it looks like. It's very smart, it's neat. It's from Meade, it's a 4000 series, and I know it's not good for an ACF telescope, but it works. I have no complaints about it. I always have it threaded on here, and I always thread on the end cap to, of course, protect the focal reducer. This is my guiding telescope. I also use it as a finder scope. I will put it on. The guide scope is a refractor. It works with lenses instead of mirrors. The light comes from here through a lens and directly down to the camera. There are no eyepieces or anything down here, only the camera. This camera is a fairly cheap one. It's from Altair. It's a 130C. It's a color camera. The best would have been a monochrome, but I bought a color camera. I don't know why, and it works for me. This is my guide camera. My guide camera has an ST4 port on it. I never use it because I use Ascom as my drivers when I'm controlling the guiding. That's because when you use ST4, you do not have readouts from the telescope to APT to plate solve where the telescope is pointed, because ST4 doesn't have that. Ascom has, so you can get the coordinates from the telescope. Where is it standing? Where is it pointing? And so on. The guide scope has a diameter of 80 millimeters and it has a focal length of 328 millimeters. Remember that number. We will use that later on in PhD too. This is my main camera. It's an Altair 183C. It's a color camera with 20 megapixels. I know it's the wrong camera for this telescope. I'm oversampling a bit, but anyhow, it works for me. I'm happy and pleased. I plug it in here, and there is quite a debate out there on the internet how long the back focus should be from this focal reducer. It's important you have the right distance from your focal reducer to the front of your sensor. In this case, I have 115 millimeters, and you measure from the back of the focal reducer to the front of the sensor plate of your camera. There is a debate how long this distance should be. Some say 145, some say 110, some say 105. I use 115 and it works for me. The focal distance should be correct, or else you would get curvatures in your stars. They will do vignetting, and you really want to prevent that. Another piece of equipment of the hardware is my USB hub. It's a 3.0 USB and it's powered. And I think it's very important that you have a powered USB hub, or else it won't work really good. This works, and I'm really happy about this purchase, because now I got only one cable going from the telescope and to my computer inside in my garage. I've seen many questions out there. How do I connect my telescope to my computer? I use a 505 cable set from Meade. It consists of this little thing here, a phone-like cable, and this that converts the serial to USB. This is important. I always plug my phone light cable into the bottom of the handset, click, and then you connect these two together, and this one will go into the USB hub and your telescope is connected to your computer. This is my flat panel. As you can see, it generates an even white light all over of the surface. You use the flat panel to make your flats. This flat panel has a small screw so you can turn up and down the intensity of the light. And how to use it? Well, just put it on your telescope and let it rest and take your flats. It's very easy peasy. Another very useful thing is the bathing up mask. You use it to make focus of your stars. Just put it in front of the telescope and make your focus. Remember to take it off before you do your photographs. Some of you may have noticed I got a small white thingy on my lens cap. What is it? Well, it's a small bag with silicone beads. And when I put it on my telescope after a good night out, well, the beads in this bag, it will take up the moisture. So now let's have a look at some of the software. Let's start up with PhD2. I got it down here. And inside PhD2, what you are gonna do is go down here and connect to your equipment. If it's a first time use, well, go to Manage Profiles, New, Using a Wizard, and out here you choose your guide camera. Now I have not connected any of my equipment, so it will just be a simulated run through of how you should set up your PhD2 guiding. In this case, I will choose my Altair camera. I tell it no, it's not connected. And now you have to tell PhD2 what the pixel size of your camera is. On my camera it's 3.75. This is important because now the software knows what are the pixel size of this camera used. And binning level is 1, and then you set in your focal length of your guide scope. Remember, 328 millimeters, and you press next. Now you choose your mount. The mount, well, it's not connected, but in my case, I will use the Meade generic Ascom driver. Is it connected? No, it's not connected right now. I never fiddle with any of these figures down here. Just press next. And next. And then you can make a profile name. In this case, it could be My Equipment. Like that. And press finish. The first time you use your camera, you will need to build up a dark library. I will not go into that right now, but it is very easy to do. Believe me, there are very good explanations inside PhD2 to do your things. So, now we will close this panel. And that's it. Now you have told PhD2 what camera you are using, the pixel size, and the focal length of your guide scope. Now, this program can now guide your telescope by using these numbers in an algorithm. You connect your gear, then you press this loop button, and the software will take pictures through your guide scope and your guide camera, and you can press here, and you will select a star to auto guide on. In my case, the software is development 4, and it can make a choice of multiple stars that it will guide on. And believe me, that works. That is very, very, very neat. And when it has done that, well, you just press here, dummy. That's what PhD stands for. Press here, dummy, and it starts guiding. It is very simple to use, and I will not go deeper into PhD2 tonight. Maybe another night. This is what you need to know as basics to use the PhD2. So now let's turn to Astrophotography Tool, also named APT. It's easier to say. I use it to plate solve for me. And what is plate solving? Well, plate solving is a method where this software will make a picture of the sky seen through the telescope in the main camera, and it will calculate where are the telescope pointed in the sky and where should the telescope be pointed in the sky. And then it will make corrections to the telescope and direct it to the object that you need, or the object that you want this evening. Maybe it's one or two, who can know. Now, look at this. Go to gear. And inside that you will press point craft. And down in the bottom you will find some settings. These are very necessary to do. Now, before you can use this point craft to do your plate solving, of course it has to know where are the stars in the sky. And in this case I use what is called Plate Solve 2.2.28. And you can download it by pressing here and it will install and you can use it. This is the program that is doing the plate solve for me inside APT. And this is how you do it. You just download the plate solve and you install it and direct the software to where you have installed it, and now it's ready and good to go. There is some other things that APT needs to know, and we will look at that now. Go inside APT settings, and in settings go to location. Inside here you have to put in your location. Where are you placed on Earth? So the APT knows where you are on Earth. APT has to know how to connect to your telescope. In my case I press connect scope. On this tab I choose my driver. It's the Meade generic. I've downloaded it from ascom.org, and you will have to download the drivers that you need for your mount. One more thing it needs to know is something about your camera. Shift click your connect. That you do that by pressing down shift and connect, and up comes this dialog. Here I've told that it's an Altair Astro camera that I'm using, and I have a Bayer filter of RGB. That is the pattern that my camera uses. You have to look up what are the Bayer pattern of your camera if it's a color camera. Furthermore, inside tools you have to put in here the focal length of your telescope. In my case it's 1550 millimeters, and you have to put in the pixel size of your camera. In my case it's 2.40, or else it will not know how much to move your telescope around in the sky to make the plate solve. Well, that was APT. I will not go further into APT. I only use it for plate solving, nothing else. One thing you will need is to download Ascom platform, or else you cannot communicate with the telescope, your filter wheel, maybe your dome, maybe your shutter, maybe your camera. Everything uses Ascom platform to communicate. Now, go to ascomstandards.org, and in there you can download the platform over here. The platform, well, it's a cross-platform that all the drivers will talk to inside your computer. And when you have downloaded and installed that, go and download all your drivers for all your gear. Go to this page, and inside here you will find the drivers needed for your gear. In my case, I will go to the telescope and mount, and I will search for my Meade driver. It's somewhere down here. I will download it and I will install it. This site is so awesome. It's so easy to use. Download the drivers and use them inside your software. Now, remember though that you will have to need the platform first. Finally, we will turn to SharpCap. This is the software that I use to capture all my images. I got the Pro version of SharpCap because when you have the Pro version, you have the tools to polar align, and you have the ability to capture darks, and you have the ability to capture flats. Watch my other videos of how to do that. I have made a simulated evening, and I've taken a bunch of pictures I've taken a few days ago, and I can now go to live stat, and down here I want to subtract a dark, and I know where my dark is. It is here. and I want to apply a flat, and I know where my flat is, here. So now I can use this play button, and look at this. Now it will automatically stack the pictures I've taken the other day, stack them together and make a and process image of all the images. I don't know how many there are. There are 22 I can see, and it's reached for frame 8 now. And you can see over here that it is stacking. The number over here is adding up. It's adding more and more and more pictures to this picture up here, or subs, or whatever you would call it up there. When I use the live stack, I always say save all for the raw frames, because I can use them afterwards in DSS or any other stacking software. And my view is the stack of the pictures, and I stack by using Sigma clipping. The Sigma clipping will reduce satellite trails on your pictures. In most cases, the trails will be completely gone when it's stacked enough images. So now I think it's done with the stacking, and there's nothing much to see right now, but if I press this auto stretch and my auto color balance, well, you already have something to see up here. And now you can fiddle about with these settings down here. Look at that. I'm manipulating the picture just by sliding all the sliders down here. I can't remember what I've taken a photo of. Maybe it's the Rosetta Nebula, I don't know. I can't remember, I can't recall. But anyhow, you can get an idea how easy it is to live stack. Even when you have taken all the pictures, you can reuse them again inside SharpCap to do a new stack of the pictures. You can even go blink through all the frames, all the subs, and remove the bad subs and only use the good subs. Well, this is how you do it, and this is how you can use this software. It's very neat, it's very smart, and I love it. I use it every time. So that was SharpCap. Well, just one more thing. Up here in the corner at File, SharpCap Settings, when you're doing your polar alignment, do press this Correct for atmospheric refraction, and this requires accurate location. Where are you placed on Earth? And you put it in down here. You can get the coordinates from Google Map or any other mapping software and just put them in here. And now SharpCap knows where your telescope is standing on Earth and where the Polaris should be standing accordingly to your guide scope. You use your guide scope to do the polar alignment because the field of view in the main scope is too small to do it. So you use your guide scope, and that's it. I will not go deeper into anything more here tonight. So that was it. A small run through of my hardware, some of it, and a small run through of the software. Not deep, but a small run through. I wish you all clear skies and happy huntings out there.